I used to avoid mirrors and bright light. Not dark rooms, bright ones, where every strand told the truth about how tired my hair had gotten. If you've caught your reflection in a store window and thought, when did that happen? You're exactly who this video is for. Today I'm walking you through 7 haircuts that don't just flatter women over 60. They genuinely make you look 10 years younger, richer, and more put together the moment you sit down in the chair. Not trendy cuts borrowed from 20-year-olds. Cuts built for your bone structure, your texture, your life right now. I researched the best haircuts and styling fixes for women over 50, so you walk into your next salon appointment already knowing exactly what to ask for. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do it now. I post fixes like this every week. Part 1. The Soft Shag and the Silver Pixie Bob. Here's something most stylists won't say plainly. Hair actually gets lighter in diameter as we age, strand by strand, which means the exact same length that looked full at 40 can look flat and thin now. It's not you doing anything wrong. It's math. And most women respond by keeping the same blunt, heavy cut they've had for decades, because it feels safe. That's the trap. The first fix is the soft shag, not the choppy, spiky 70s version, but a modern face-framing shag with soft layers cut around the crown and through the ends. Here's exactly what to say in the chair. I'd like long layers starting at my cheekbones, with movement through the crown, and the ends texturized rather than blunt. That phrase, texturized rather than blunt, tells your stylist to remove weight, so the hair has lift instead of hanging flat. Why does this work? Layers redistribute weight, so hair sits higher off the scalp, which reads as fuller and healthier from 3 feet away, which is the distance most people actually see you at. The crown lift alone can visually restore volume that thinning has taken, without a single extension or piece of clip-in hair. And because the layers start at the cheekbone, they naturally soften the jawline, which tends to become the first place people notice aging. The snapback moment here is real. Women who make this switch tell me the same thing. People stop saying, "You look nice," and start saying, "Did you do something? You look amazing." That's the layers doing quiet work. Softness where structure used to sit heavy. Before, hair blunt cut to one length, hanging flat past the shoulders, no movement at the crown. After, soft shag with cheekbone grazing layers, visible lift and texture throughout. That's swap number 1. Now here's the second cut for this part, and it's for a very specific kind of woman. The one who's been quietly considering going shorter, but is terrified it'll age her instead of rejuvenating her. The Silver Pixie Bob. This isn't a traditional pixie. It's a longer, chin-to-jaw length pixie bob hybrid with soft side-swept bangs and rounded, not choppy edges. In the chair, say this. I want a pixie bob with length staying at the jaw, soft side bangs, and rounded ends, nothing choppy or spiky. That last part matters enormously, because choppy pixies are what age women in this length category. Rounded, soft edges are what rejuvenate. Here's why this length specifically flatters a mature face. The jawline is exactly where soft tissue tends to shift with age, and hair that schemes right at that point, not above it, not below it, draws the eye along a clean horizontal line instead of down toward the neck. It's the single most flattering length in this entire video, and it's the one women avoid most because they associate pixie with something severe. I had a woman write to me after this exact cut. She said her granddaughter asked if she'd gotten work done. That's not vanity talk. That's what soft, well-placed layers actually do to how a face reads at a glance. Before, hair grown long past the shoulders, weighing down the face, no defined shape. After, jaw-length pixie bob with soft side bangs, clean rounded silhouette framing the whole face. Up next, I want to show you the one cut that stylists specifically recommend for silver and gray hair transitions. Because gray behaves completely differently than color-treated hair, and most women are cutting it exactly wrong. Part 2. The Textured Gray Crop. Gray and silver hair has a coarser cuticle than color-treated hair, which means it reflects light differently. And most cuts designed for colored hair simply don't account for that. If your gray hair looks dull or helmet-like, instead of luminous, the cut is very likely the actual problem, not the color itself. This is where the textured gray crop comes in. It's a short cropped cut, above the ear on the sides, slightly longer and heavily textured on top. designed specifically to catch and bounce light rather than absorb it flat. The salon chair phrase here is precise. I want a textured crop short on the sides, with point cutting through the top to break up the surface, not a smooth, rounded shape. Point cutting is the technical term that tells your stylist to cut into the ends at an angle rather than straight across, which creates the broken, light-catching texture gray hair specifically needs. Once the surface is broken up with point cutting, gray hair stops reading as flat or dull and starts reading as intentional, almost polished, like a deliberate style choice rather than something left to happen on its own. This single distinction is what separates elegant silver from just gray. And it lives entirely in how the ends are cut, not in any product or treatment. The result women report after this cut is almost always the same word: sharper. Not harsh, sharp in the sense of looking put together, deliberate, awake. It's the haircut equivalent of standing up a little straighter. People read confidence into it before you've said a word. There's a woman I think about often who made this exact switch after resisting short gray hair for years, convinced it would wash her out. She told me the first week felt strange, and then a stranger at the pharmacy complimented her hair, unprompted, something that hadn't happened in years. That's the texture doing the work the color alone never could. Before, gray hair cut in a smooth, rounded bob shape, appearing flat and light-absorbing under most lighting. After, short textured crop with point-cut ends, visibly catching light and reading as deliberate and polished. There's a myth I need to correct next, because it's convinced thousands of women over 60 to avoid the one cut that would actually suit them best. And it has nothing to do with texture. It's about length, and everyone gets the rule backwards. Part 3. The long layered bob and the curtain bang lob. The myth is this: short hair is more age-appropriate, long hair ages you. It's backwards. What actually ages a face isn't length, it's length without shape. Hair that's simply grown out with no cut structure is what reads as tired, regardless of whether it stops at the chin or the waist. The long layered bob solves this directly. It sits between the collarbone and shoulder, with heavy layering starting around the ear line, so there's real movement instead of a solid, static curtain of hair. The chair language. I'd like a long bob, layered starting at ear level, with the ends cut to flip slightly outward rather than under. That outward flip detail is what most women skip, and it's the difference between a bob that looks current and one that looks stuck in 2005. The ear-level layering does something specific to the lower face. It creates a visual break right around where jowls and jaw softening tend to show up first, so the eye moves along the layer line instead of settling on that area. It's the same principle as the pixie bob from part 1, just at a longer length. Strategic breaks in the hairline draw attention exactly where you want it. Women who make this switch describe feeling like their hair finally moves again, that it responds when they turn their head, instead of sitting like a solid block. That physical sense of movement translates directly into how animated and alive someone looks in conversation, on camera, in photos. Before, hair grown to one length past the shoulders with no layering, static and heavy. After, long layered bob with ear-level layers and outward flipped ends, visibly moving with her head turns. The second cut in this part answers the question I get more than almost any other. What do I do if I still want length but my face has started to feel swallowed by all that hair? The curtain bang lob. Curtain bangs part in the center and sweep to both sides, longest at the center and shortest near the temples. The exact chair phrase. I want curtain bangs parted center, blended into the length rather than cut as a separate section. That blending instruction is critical. Bangs cut as a separate block from the rest of the hair look dated almost immediately, while blended curtain bangs look like they've always belonged there. What curtain bangs do structurally is soften the entire upper third of the face, forehead lines, temple hollows, brow area, without covering anything completely. They frame rather than hide. That's an important distinction, because hiding reads as self-conscious, while framing reads as intentional styling. I heard from a woman who'd avoided bangs for 15 years, convinced they'd make her look like she was trying too hard. She finally tried curtain bangs at 63, and said it was the first haircut in a decade where she didn't immediately reach for concealer before leaving the house. The bangs did that visual softening on their own. Before, full length with a straight across, exposed forehead and no face framing. After, Curtain bang lob with center-parted bangs blending into layered length, softening the whole upper face. Next, there's a completely different category of cut I haven't touched yet. One built entirely around thickness rather than length or texture. For the specific woman whose hair has actually gotten fuller with age, not thinner. Part 4. The volume control layered cut. Not every woman over 60 is dealing with thinning. Some of you have the opposite problem. Hair that's gotten thicker, coarser, or more unruly with age, especially after menopause shifts hormone levels. If that's you, most of the advice in this video so far has felt irrelevant, because it's aimed at adding volume you don't need more of. The volume control layered cut is built specifically for thick, coarse, or wavy mature hair that's become difficult to manage. It uses internal layering, meaning layers cut inside the hair rather than at the visible ends, to remove bulk without shortening the overall length or thinning it in a way that leaves flyaways. The chair phrase here matters enormously. I want internal layers to remove weight from underneath, not point cutting or thinning shears through the ends. That distinction protects you from the classic mistake of a stylist thinning the ends, which just creates frizz and flyaways instead of solving the bulk problem. Here's the mechanism. Internal layering removes weight from the underlayers of the hair, while keeping the outer layer intact and smooth, so the hair sits closer to the head and the overall silhouette narrows. Coarse, thick hair without this internal thinning tends to expand outward into a triangular shape as it grows, which reads as heavy and can visually age the whole face by adding bulk where there shouldn't be any. The transition here is subtle but real. Women describe going from constantly fighting their hair, spending 20 minutes with a straightener every morning, to actually working with its natural wave or texture because the weight distribution finally makes sense on their head shape. That's less styling time and more definition, simultaneously, which almost never happens with one single cut. I want to be direct about the emotional side of this, because it matters. So much of what gets marketed to women over 60 assumes thin, fine hair is the universal problem. If you've spent years feeling like every haircut tutorial simply doesn't apply to you because your hair is thick and unruly, that's not a personal failing. It's an entire industry aiming its advice at the wrong texture. This cut exists because your hair type deserves an actual solution, not a workaround borrowed from someone else's hair. Before, thick, coarse hair growing outward into a heavy triangular shape, requiring daily straightening to manage. After, internally layered cut sitting close to the head, natural texture and wave visible and defined without bulk. There's one haircut left, and it's the one I'd call the most universally rejuvenating of all 7. Not because of length or texture, but because of what it does to the single feature that changes most as we age. The neckline and jaw silhouette together. Part 5. The angled neck grazing bob. Here's the fact almost nobody says out loud. The neck and jawline change more dramatically after 60 than almost any other part of the face, and yet nearly every mainstream haircut guide completely ignores this area when talking about flattering cuts. They focus entirely on the top and sides. That's a real gap, and it's exactly why so many otherwise good haircuts still leave women feeling like something's slightly off. The angled neck grazing bob is cut specifically to address this. It's shorter in the back, angling longer toward the front, so the shortest point sits right at the nape of the neck, and the longest point grazes the jaw. The salon chair language. I want an angled bob, shorter in the back at the nape, angling down longer toward the front at jaw length, with the back undercut slightly for the angle to read clearly. That undercut detail at the back is what makes the angle sharp and visible rather than a vague, soft slope. Why this specific angle matters. The back of the neck is where skin tends to stay firmest longest, so exposing it draws the eye to the strongest part of that whole area. Meanwhile, the longer front sections gently cover the part of the jaw and upper neck that softens first. It's a cut that's quietly doing damage control and showing off in the same motion, hiding what's changed while highlighting what hasn't. The snapback here is probably the strongest of any cut in this video. Because the angle creates such a clean, graphic line, people register it almost instantly as styled, rather than just cut. The same way a tailored jacket reads differently than an off-the-rack one, even at a glance. Women tell me this is the haircut that gets stopped in parking lots, the one where strangers ask who does their hair. Before, one-length hair falling straight past the jaw with no distinction between front and back, softening the entire neck and jaw area equally. After, Angled neck raising bob, short and clean at the nape, longer and gently covering toward the jawline in front. I want to leave you with something a woman told me after this exact cut, because it stayed with me. She said her hairdresser turned the chair around at the end, and for the first time in years, she didn't brace herself before looking. She just looked and smiled. That's not about vanity. That's about finally seeing a version of herself in the mirror that matches how she actually feels inside. 7 cuts, 7 different starting points: thinning hair, thick hair, gray transitions, jawline changes, neck concerns. Wherever you're starting from, one of these was built with exactly your situation in mind. The next step is simple. Pick the one that matched your reflection the most, and use the exact chair language I gave you, word for word, at your next appointment. So now you've got 7 cuts: the soft shag, the silver pixie bob, the textured gray crop, the long layered bob, the curtain bang lob, the volume control layered cut, and the angled neck raising bob. Each one solving a completely different starting point, and every single one backed by exact words to say in the chair. That's not guesswork anymore. That's a plan. Tell me in the comments, which of these 7 matched your hair the closest, and which one are you booking first? Next week, I'm covering the specific coloring techniques that pair with these cuts to add even more dimension and life. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.